Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. 1 killed and several others arrested during police military operation in Gregory Park, St. Catherine. Transport Ministry lists transportation issues to be addressed in the coming fiscal year. And later in sports, major financial boost for ISA Boys and Girls Championships. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shane Masters, and here are the details. An early morning police military operation in Gregory Park, St. Catherine has left 1 man dead, several others in police custody, and the siege of guns and ammunition. As you'll hear in this report from Kirk Wright, the cops say this is the beginning of a clampdown on the crime-riddled community.
A man was fatally shot by members of the security forces in Gregory Park, St. Catherine, Thursday morning as a joint police military operation was being conducted in the area. Commanding officer for the St. Catherine South Police Division, SSP Christopher Phillips, says during the operation in the early hours of the morning, the military team was fired on by gangsters. He says the men on the ground returned fire. When the shooting ended, 1 man was seen suffering from gunshot wounds. He was subsequently taken to the Spanish Town Hospital where he was pronounced dead.
1 9mm pistol was taken from him. A further search of the area, the team found 1 AK-47 rifle, 1 shotgun, several assorted rounds of ammunition, and a ballistic vest. The operation continues. We believe that there are more guns in this general area, and so the team will be focused in this area a little while longer.
SSP Phillips further noted that 10 males were taken into custody by the team, among them teenagers, hence this warning.
I would just say to the community, pay attention to these youngsters inside your community who are on the roads every day, not having anything to do. They are going to get themselves involved in criminal activities.
1 resident who spoke with journalists at the scene under anonymity says she's fearful.
I can't sleep at night. I have no daughter, I never get a daughter. 2 little sons and they are foreign. Or who are working Midday, and I see what I'm to other people.
So are you scared for sleeping? You're scared for sleep?
Because more of the day.
I just want to reassure them that we are not going to leave them to the mercy of these criminals. We're going to relentlessly pursue criminals within the St. Catherine South Division. In fact, it is 6 weapons in less than 24 hours, because you're aware that yesterday we had a similar find in the Central Village area.
The operation comes as there have been several murders in the community in recent weeks. SSP Phillips says this operation is one of many to come in that space.
It's not just about Gregory Park. For this year, we have a very serious focus on gang activities. It's part of our strategic focus for 2024, where we intend to disrupt, degrade, and displace these active gangs.
Kirk Wright, TVJ News.
Several public transportation issues are slated to be addressed in the coming fiscal year, including the massive annual loss of the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC. Transport Ministry representatives faced Parliament's Standing Finance Committee this week.
The operations of the state-owned JUTC have been a sore point for years. In addition to racking up billions of dollars in losses, the service and efficiency of the entity leave a lot to be desired. Atop the list of issues raised by opposition spokesperson on transport, Michael Phillips, at Tuesday's Standing Finance Committee, is the pending purchase of 100 new buses.
When is the expected delivery date?
So the deposit is paid, and the earliest shipping time that I have as of right now is June to get here July, possibly end of June to get here end of July. But my intention is to have those buses rolled out for the new school term.
10% of the buses will be outfitted to accommodate the community of people living with disabilities. Additionally, Transport Minister Darrell Vaz outlined a plan to recondition some 95 buses for routes in rural St. Andrew. This is a continuation of an arrangement for batches of 25, with the first being covered in the 2023-24 budget.
And the recondition is not local recondition. These are the manufacturers that come to Jamaica and oversee the reconditioning of the buses. So right away you get significant more life of it with minimum parts requirements.
In spite of the plans for more units, however, the entity still racks up a $12 billion loss each year. Mr. Phillips acknowledged that the minister noted he had asked for a review of the entity's operations in this regard.
Absolutely.
It is overdue.
100%.
Right, because I think the staff itself has been given basket to carry water, to carry the JUTC.
And I can tell you that I do believe it is timely, and I think that it will.
And will the same be done for Montego Bay Metro?
Yes, Montego Bay Metro, members, you know, is another situation where they are limping. And the bottom line is, again, a decision has to be taken in relation to whether we put more buses on the road down there, or we do the same thing and see if there's somebody in the transport sector that would give a better service.
As for the rural bus system, Mr. Vaz says the government is in the final stages of a plan to improve that service, with a focus on students in the first instance. Sandy Williams, TVJ News.
Director of Safety and Security in the Ministry of Education and Youth, Richard Troop, is dismissing a call made by Jamaica Teachers Association President Leighton Johnson for increased safety measures in schools. Both were guests on the morning agenda on Power 106 this morning. Now, a combative Mr. Troop argues that while violent conflicts are concerning, violence in schools is a reflection of the cruelty seen in communities and homes. He says the Education Ministry recognizes its responsibility to address and reduce confrontations in schools, but maintains that it has been deploying the relevant professionals and support, given its limited resources and manpower shortage. Mr. Troop went on to list a raft of mechanisms developed to address the ongoing problems. He also rubbished comments that a majority of the campaigns launched by the ministry are underdeveloped.
Of safety and security in our schools. The majority of the over 11,900 participants, students at the primary and secondary level, our principals, our teachers, our parents, have suggested that within schools they are moderately safe. Our students, despite the incidents of violence, that school is the safest place for them. I agree we are not where we ought to be, and that is understood. Let's not lose sight of what we would have been doing as a ministry and individual schools to treat with the issue.
Meanwhile, Mr. Troop also moved to dismiss comments that metal detectors have been ineffective, adding that routine audits are done to identify and replace defective machines. Residents of Catadupa in St. James are calling on the authorities to address 2 damaged light poles in the area. They complain that the situation needs to be addressed urgently because lives are in danger. Shemala Pullen reports.
This post here is special in our crossroad. You can see little piece with all. And right now, boy, I tell you, I don't know.
Mervyn Realtor is just one of hundreds of residents who live in the Catadupa community in St. James. For the past 10 years, they have been living in fear following the deterioration of 2 light poles in the area. The light poles are located in the square and the other at a school.
When the breeze blow, it just so destructs, or sometimes the amount of things they burn up, or sometimes it rain fall, it blow. So all well, right now, one wire down so drop down from when down there out there now, I see the man them come look upon me. I tell you, say, well, things burn up, the fridge burn up. You have to buy well things sweet. Said we have TV and everything. When time it rain fall.
We have a basic school and we have the primary school. They use it also. And as you can see, it's a 3-way wire, so you know it's 3 different. Whole of Lapland use it, Belfont use it. Should in case anything happen, a lot of people it will affect.
We are coming at time and we can cut down any time and drop. If you drop on the shop a go burn down. You can drop on the youth them and hurt the youth them. And nobody no one contact.
The residents complain that the matter has been reported several times, but to this day, nothing has been done.
All the while, them come, then look on it, then so them coming back next week. Every time they come, then take picture. There, one man come and say, all right, and take a picture, everything I got all right.
They sent a contractor, he came, you only look at it and leave. That's what they'll be doing.
When TVJ News contacted the JPS, we were told that they're investigating the matter. Shamela Pullen, TVJ News.
And in a further response a few minutes ago from the JPS, the power company says Catadupa and its environs is one of the areas earmarked for attention. Media and Public Relations Manager at the JPS, Audrey Williams, says the teams have been collecting data on the area and plans are in place for work, including pole replacement, vegetation clearance, and general maintenance works. Now, she says residents should see some changes in short order. And it's time for a break here on the Midday News, but stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. The Jamaica Labour Party says it expects to claim the Ginger Ridge division in the parish of St. Catherine when the magisterial recount ends today. Counting was postponed yesterday evening with 24 of the 29 boxes completed. Caroline Chuck, the attorney representing the JLP councillor candidate Jeremiah Edwards, says the process was delayed due to time.
The judge has been taking her time and properly counting and considering the different ballots and ensuring that everything is properly done in accordance with the legislation. And so it's just a matter of time why we have not finished the counting today.
Ms. Chuck noted that the JLP councillor so far has gained an extra vote following the partially completed recount. She however noted that if any discrepancies are found, then the matter would be escalated to the Supreme Court. But the PNP attorney is unbothered.
Confident in Mr. Wilson, I expect a victory.
Are you seeing anything in the ballots that have been counted so far that you might have to take to a higher level?
No, I don't see anything that will go any further. From my side.
Okay. Do your candidate get any additional balloting tonight?
We picked up 2. The other side picked up. It's net 1.
At the end of the local government election, the preliminary count for the PNP councillor was 1,017, while the JLP candidate had 1,010. The swearing-in ceremony for councillors and the chairperson for the Trelawny Municipal Corporation should now be underway at the Trelawny Courthouse. But ahead of the ceremony, our news centre spoke with residents who say they already have a list of issues they want addressed in the shortest possible time.
Cut the road, bush it, weed up the banking, the side, and then you go to them, you drain them, they clean, and if rubbish, that first priority that we're interested in.
I like to see the place clean more fresher, and then as it's a tourist area now, so we have to keep it more cleaner.
Some of the back road one vehicle drop down in the hole them want fix up, and some of them building they look like they want paint over back.
Falmouth is a place that have a drainage problem, and anytime rainfall, we have an issue with the plastic and those sort of things block the drain. And over the years, it's been going on from one government to the other, it's the same thing.
Now, they are also calling for the reconstruction of the old courthouse, which housed the municipal corporation after the roof collapsed last year. The Jamaica Labour Party won the Trelawny Municipal Corporation with 6 seats to the People's National Party's 3. And it's now time for the Business Minute. Electrical and lighting company Fosrich has secured $900 million in financing from JN Fund managers. Fosrich Company says the funds will be used to begin operations in Guyana with a particular focus on expanding its service offerings in PVC manufacturing, transformer repairs, and solar business. Guyana holds immense potential for Fosrich as that country leads growth in the region. The funds will help the company capitalize on the growing demand for infrastructure development and maintenance in the region. Further afield, online scams cost people billions of dollars last year. The Federal Bureau of Investigation's FBI, in a new report, reveals a record $12.5 billion in losses were reported in 2023. The Bureau says that was fueled by a surge in cryptocurrency investment fraud. Last year's total losses from scams were more than $2 billion higher than reported in the year prior. And that's it for the Business Minute. Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, gangs pushing for the ouster of Haitian Prime Minister Ariel Henry have been setting fire to police stations in the capital, Port-au-Prince. The police station located in the busy open-air Solomon Market is the latest to be targeted. The gangs in the violence-racked city stepped up their attacks when Mr. Henry left for a regional summit last week. The unrest has paralyzed air traffic, which has prevented his return. On the international scene, Hamas delegation has left Cairo, noting that talks on a Gaza ceasefire and hostage release will resume next week, making it extremely unlikely that mediators will broker a deal before the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. Egyptian officials had earlier said the negotiations reached an impasse over Hamas's demand for a phased process leading up to an end to the war. But they did not rule out a deal before Ramadan, which is expected to begin on Sunday and has emerged as an informal deadline. And on Ghana's Independence Day, demonstrators protested outside the Ghanaian High Commission in London. The group is calling for Ghana's parliament to kill the country's anti-homosexual bill that was passed on Wednesday. The controversial bill, which was introduced in the parliament in 2021, criminalizes LGBTQ relationships, along with those who support LGBTQ rights, with a maximum 5-year jail term for forming or funding LGBTQ+ groups. It's the latest sign of growing opposition to LGBTQ+ rights in the conservative West African nation. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, Jordan Fort will have your midday sports report.